How's it guys, this is Dayvy FPL and welcome back to another Fantasy Premier League video here on my channel. Now this video I've titled it Versus Battles. We're going to be looking at some player showdowns for the upcoming FPL 2019/2020 season. We're going to be putting players, sometimes teammates and sometimes even friends, up against each other and comparing them to see who comes out on top at the end of the day. So,
ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
First, I just wanted to give you a reminder about our community league here on Dayvy FPL. I've titled the league Dayvy vs the World. I think it was just a little bit of a clever title there. I'd appreciate it if you guys joined it if you want. The code is BDFI35, that is not a 1. I'd appreciate it if you guys joined. Thanks to those who've already joined. We've got quite a lot of people down there, quite a couple pages, so hopefully we can make it one of the best leagues this season. So, I'd appreciate it if you joined. Just a little bit of a reminder, some people were asking me. So, as I said, round 1, we're going to be putting Salah versus Mane up against each other. Probably two of the most owned players and will be going into this upcoming FPL season. Some of the top performers of last season, and I can only see them getting better and better. Salah had a 0.5 million pound price drop. I think that's just mainly due to him not getting over 300 points again in consecutive seasons, with Mane rising in price by quite a bit, up to 11.5. Mane comes in at 1 mil cheaper, and it's up to you if you think that that is a big difference and if he's the better option over Salah due to that price decrease on the two players. You can see that Salah ended up scoring more points last season, which is just why he's more expensive. And when we're comparing these players over this video, we're going to be looking at goals, assists, minutes played, shots versus shots on target, big chances created, and bonus points received last season. The assists are due to the FPL assists given. You might see in some other stat sites that they have received less assists. That's just because the FPL assists are a little bit ambiguous, and generally a player will get an assist if maybe he wasn't going to get it in the real life stats. So that's just one of the discrepancies you might see on other stats sites. So going into it, I've already spoken about the price. With goals, they both received the Golden Boot last season, 22 goals in total, along with AUBAMEYANG. We'll be getting onto him later in the video. With assists, Salah generally gets a lot more assists than Mane, and that can be seen with the 8 versus 1. I don't really know why this is. Maybe Mane's just a little bit more of a selfish player, but I just think that Mane is usually the last player on goal, so generally he gets the passes, whereas other players pass to him. Seeing the minutes played, there's a little bit of a discrepancy of about 200 minutes, but that I think mainly is just down to Mane getting substituted a little bit earlier in games than Mohamed Salah. Both play a ton of minutes for Liverpool and are definitely the first choice wingers in that team. In terms of shots, Salah has taken 137 with 64 on target to Mane's 87 but 42 on target. This can we can see from this that Mane takes a lot more accurate shots, whereas Salah kind of generally snaps at them and just takes them on for the sake of them. But in FPL, you kind of want to be taking a player that scores and or shoots more, as they generally score more. Big chances created, 16-7 in favor of Mo Salah. That just comes down to him generally assisting more and being more of an all-round player. Sadio Mane is generally the better finisher. And in bonus points, this is where the interesting thing comes with Mo Salah, is that he generally does not get a lot of bonus points. This is mainly due to the fact that he generally has a lot of off-target shots, and that comes to hinder him in the bonus point system. So Sadio Mane has got 24 to Mo Salah's 18. In terms of preference, a lot of people are going for Mo Salah, and I tend to agree. He just seems like the more complete winger. I do really like Sadio Mane. I just think that 11.5 is quite expensive, and I do think that he is going to have a little bit less of a 22 goal scoring season this upcoming season, and hopefully both these players do well, but I just think Mo Salah is favored a little bit. Round 2, we're going to be comparing Trent Alexander-Arnold versus Robertson. These are just the two defenders that I think a lot of people are deciding between. I know a lot of people have both of them, but if you're not fortunate enough to have both, you have to pick one. You could even fit Virgil van Dijk in here. I just have not, as it's quite hard to compare a wing back to a centre back on stats. Both come in at 7 million, which is probably a little bit better for Trent Alexander-Arnold, as I think that if he played the same amount of minutes as Robertson, he would be quite expensive. So Robertson ended up the season with 213 points to Trent Alexander-Arnold's 185. Alexander-Arnold scored 1 goal, but these two are not goal scorers, they're more assisters, as can be seen by the 13 versus 12 assists. So not much in the assist game, but when you look at the minutes played, you can see why Trent Alexander-Arnold is quite a gem for FPL. Playing a lot less minutes than Robertson, and this can be down to just Trent Alexander-Arnold being more of a rotation risk, and this is the reason why I favor Robertson in the long run. As you can see, Trent Alexander-Arnold has 201 crosses with a 29% accuracy compared to Robertson's 135 with a 16% accuracy. So if you want a wingback, you want him to be crossing more and you want him to be hitting the target more, which is exactly what Trent Alexander-Arnold does. In terms of big chances created, Robertson is leading here with 15 to 11, and in the bonus point system, both doing very well with bonus points, Robertson scoring 29 to Trent Alexander-Arnold's 25. In terms of preference for me, as I said, rotation is a big thing in FPL, and that is why I favor Robertson. If both players were set to play the same amount of minutes, 100% I'd be going for Trent Alexander-Arnold, as he is just better going forward, and he provides more FPL returns. But FPL is a long season game, and that's why I think Robertson will probably be in my team come the start of game week 1. In round 3, we have Sterling versus Aguero. This is quite a good comparison as both come in at 12 million, and the only difference is one is a midfielder and one is a forward. Sterling had the better season last season with 234 points compared to Aguero's 201. In terms of goals scored, Aguero scored more goals but less assists, with Sterling scoring 15 to 11 assists. Minutes played, Sterling actually played more minutes than Aguero, and this is one of the talking points I'm going to be talking about at the end of this comparison. Shots on target, Aguero takes a lot more shots, 118 to 43, but Sterling does have better accuracy. This probably just comes down to Aguero being a centre forward and kind of taking on more shots than Sterling, whereas Sterling could probably provide some assists. The one thing I wanted to note about is that Sergio Aguero has a lot of assists for a centre forward with 11. That is quite impressive, and when you add up that to 21 goals, that is a monstrous amount of FPL returns and something to definitely keep your eye on. In terms of big chances created, Sterling comes out on top again with 12 versus 6, and with bonus points there's only 1 point in it with 26 to 25. With minutes played, this is something that I'm going to be cautious about with the upcoming season, as I generally believe Gabriel Jesus will play more minutes this season. However, it's going to be interesting to see what Pep Guardiola does with the rotation, whereas Aguero could play Premier League games, maybe Jesus will play the Cup games. It's going to be interesting to see what happens, but I'm generally favoring Sterling a lot more when I'm thinking about my own FPL team. Sergio Aguero is a great asset to have. I just think that Sterling might be a better option and offer better returns. Going into round 4, we have SIGURDSSON versus RICHARLISON, the Everton double up here. Both come in at 8 million, which makes them quite a nice comparison, and both ended the season with 13 goals. It's noted being said that RICHARLISON generally plays a lot higher than SIGURDSSON, and SIGURDSSON generally plays that playmaker role, which is why he has more assists than RICHARLISON. Not that many more assists, and when comparing them, you probably think that RICHARLISON could get better returns after seeing that he has played less minutes. The one thing that's interesting to note is that SIGURDSSON does have more shots and more shots on target than RICHARLISON, but that just could be down to less minutes played. In terms of big chances created, no competition here. SIGURDSSON comes out on top with 11 versus 2 and bonus points as well with 20 versus 12. My preference is 100% towards SIGURDSSON. I just think that he's the better FPL option, and you generally want your player to be playing more minutes, which is exactly what SIGURDSSON does. Probably the set starter in that Everton lineup, and I can see him pulling the strings for them the entire season. RICHARLISON could become a good option towards the end of the season or the middle of the season once we see him hit some form, but right now my preference is with the Iceland man. So for our second last comparison of the video, we're going down from Merseyside to the coast, with Bournemouth double up of Wilson versus King. A little bit of a price difference here with 8 mil for Wilson and 6.5 for King, but I think this is down to the total points scored at the end of last season, with Wilson scoring 168 compared to King's 141, with Wilson playing less minutes. As you can see, the less minutes played here is highlighted in this comparison. In the previous comparisons, I had more minutes played as the green or the desired variable, but now I've highlighted the less minutes played because Wilson has ended the season with less minutes played but more goals and more assists, coming in with 14 goals compared to King's 12. But I think the real deal breaker here is the assists. Wilson has gone on to score 12 assists, whereas King has had only 3. Shots on target, we also have 65 to 30. I've just highlighted this as we've had better shot accuracy from Wilson, whereas King has had 72 shots with 23 being on target. In terms of big chances created, Wilson's also created more with 13 compared to 10. 10 is though not that bad considering the assists. This just shows that the Bournemouth teammates aren't really finishing the chances that King produces. In terms of bonus points, Wilson also leads us with 22 compared to 20. In terms of I think that I've been a little bit blinded by King's price here. When comparing these stats, you see that Wilson is the better player. However, my only deal breaker is if Wilson stays injury free. If he stays injury free, I think he's a great option, but if not, King comes in and replaces him as a cheaper alternative. But right now, I think that if I had the money, I would opt for Wilson. And now going into the final comparison of the video, the triple whammy, Kane versus Aubameyang versus Vardy. I wanted to originally do Kane versus Aubameyang, but I thought that Vardy is just a little bit too hard to ignore right now, and he offers some good stats alternative coming in at a cheaper price. So as you can see, the prices of Kane and Aubameyang are both 11 mil, whereas Vardy comes in at a cheaper 9 million. In terms of goals last season, Kane scored 17, Aubameyang 22, and Vardy 18. Here you can see that Vardy outscored Kane. However, Kane did play a lot less minutes and was injured for a portion of the season. In terms of assists, it's pretty close here with Aubameyang coming out on top with 7. In terms of minutes played, Vardy just edges it from Aubameyang with minutes played, and I found this quite interesting as people talked about that Arsenal Emery rotation last season, and it actually shows that Aubameyang was playing quite a lot of minutes. I think that all 3 strikers didn't play the maximum, but hopefully in the upcoming season they can, and I'm sure they'll be getting a lot more goals then. Aubameyang is quite impressive with his goals and assists, coming in with the golden boot along with Mo Salah and Mane. I just think that the Lacazette versus Aubameyang debate causes a little bit of people to miss out on this player, as they are a little bit scared of rotation. But I think that if you're going to go for one of these, I probably would go for Aubameyang, but it's a little bit hard to ignore with Vardy coming in cheaper. In terms of shots on target, Kane has had the most shots on target and shots, even though he has played less minutes. I think that this just accredits to how goal scoring and prolific he can be. I think in previous seasons he's shown this with the amount of goals he scored. I think last season was just a little bit of a lackluster season and could be brought down to maybe a little bit of disruption playing in the new stadium and Spurs not being at their best. So in terms of shots on target, you can see that Vardy has the best shot accuracy, coming in with 40 shots on target where he has only shot 79 times. Just better than 50% there on shot accuracy. He is very prolific and could be a good option in the upcoming season. In terms of big chances created, Aubameyang and Vardy share this with 8, but Aubameyang takes the bonus points with 32, 1 above Vardy. This just proves that Vardy, even though he might not score the most goals, he does get a lot of bonus points at the end of the day, and I think that's just to show that he is Leicester's main man. In terms of who's my preference for this upcoming season, I'm going for Vardy in this one. Coming in at 2 mil cheaper, you get a lot of similar stats compared to the other two. In terms of my wildcard pick, it would probably be Kane, as I just think that he is quite explosive and he could start the season very well. However, I do think Spurs have quite a couple tough fixtures in the opening, about 6 or 7, so that's one to look out for. So I hope you've enjoyed this showdown match, this versus video that I've done comparing players. I think that it's been quite informative, and I know that we've delved into the statistics a lot, and I know a lot of people don't really like the statistics, but I think that it's a good way to compare the performance of players over previous seasons. So please like the video if you did enjoy it, and subscribe if you are new or are returning and are enjoying this FPL content. Also leave suggestions down below of videos you guys want me to cover, and I will probably make them. So as I said, I hope you've enjoyed the video, and I'm going to be signing off. This has been Dayvy FPL, and I'm out. Cheers, bye.